Hey there, it's Dan, and welcome back to Flip-Flop Gaming. Today, we're actually going to be doing a showcase video going over my island in Animal Crossing New Horizons. So we'll go through the whole island, and we'll finish up with going through my house. So sit tight and enjoy the show. Alright, and here we are. So you can see the map on the lower right. I have my house on the middle part of the island on the northern side. And as you'll start to see, I have a lot of Zelda influence in the whole island. So I've got a few custom designs. One is this Triforce here, and in the spirit of A Link to the Past, where Ganon's castle is all the way on the northern part of the world, I've got my house decorated to kind of look castle-like, so it's black in color, and we've got the steel door. Another theme in my island is there's going to be flowers everywhere. You'll see I've got different areas themed with different colors and color combinations, but so around my house, I've got all these gold roses, which took a long time to breed. Got those surrounding, and then below here, I've got basically a rainbow of all the flowers, starting with white, pink, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and black. So this is basically a representation of all the flowers that I have on the island. And then in each area that's connected here, we can see green, that's like the foresty area, so Kokiri Forest or the Lost Woods. And red up here is going to be Death Mountain or something like it. And then on this side, I've got blue to be like Zora's River. So let's start by coming down here on this bridge. This is kind of just an intermediate passageway going to other areas. So I've got yellow, green, and white flowers on this side, and red, blue, and purple flowers on this side. I've got various beehives around the island as well. And we'll just continue down the staircase. So more themed flower areas with beehives and different trees and bushes in certain areas. So this will be our first stop. So I've got a little sign here with a tree on it, and I've got the Kokiri emeralds on the ground here. This is to indicate the entrance to our area that's kind of replicating the Lost Woods. And this has been designed with a lot of trees and bushes, so there is actually a specific path you have to take. There's a couple alternate routes, but basically the bushes are blocking any ways you can't go, and it's kind of hard to see. So it's designed to be kind of like a maze in here. So very much Lost Woods themed, and it's like a maze. So we can navigate through here and see the different paths that we can take. So I can take this one, but a lot of the areas going north, I've got bushes. You can kind of see those. I've got a little pathway. Let's see, where is it? I think it's here. Yeah, so this will allow me to get through. We've got a little stream going through that we can hop over. We've got the other part of the Lost Woods here with different types of trees and similar themes that we've got, bushes blocking your path in certain areas. And then once you've reached the end of the Lost Woods, we've got actually the same outfit that I'm wearing, the sprite clothes, meant to mimic Link's green tunic, and we've got a mossy colored stone here. And then this ramp leads back up to my house area, so it's kind of how I've connected that. So let's next we're going to head over to Death Mountain. So Death Mountain is going to be themed with sparse rocks on the ground to kind of designate your path, and I've got mostly red and orange flowers here. And I do have these skulls. There's a few of these skull radios that are playing the song for this area. I tried to match as close as I could to kind of a Death Mountain type of theme. And I've got these, little wooden fence pieces as well, just sporadically labeled. And we've got the red tunic up there on the cliff with a bonfire in that little hole area. It kind of meant to show like, oh, it's a volcano there. It could be a volcano or like an open crater type of thing. And we've also got a house that's also kind of themed like Death Mountain in the same colors. So we've got, you know, black obsidian looking tiles and the red finish on the house. Just different rocks placed around. Also some themed flags there as well. So that's just, you know, a red flag. Got little campfires here and torches. So this is very much meant to mimic the Death Mountain area. Let me go up here and show you what we're looking at. So I threw this up here just because I thought it was cool, you know, almost like a dragon at the top of the mountain. It is a fossil of Tyrannosaurus Rex. And we've got a rock up here as well. We've got another crater type thing with the bonfire. And you can take this path behind here as well. We've also got a lot of flowers lining the path. Flowers, different types of rocks. And let's head down this ramp. This is a metal ramp, but it was the only one that I could get that was red. So I wanted to include that here. So this is like a canyon type of thing. And exiting out of this area, we see the Goron's Ruby on the ground. That's another custom design I got. And then the entrance to this is lined with this stone archway. So you probably saw earlier, but up here is not really much of anything. I just put a fish and then a sky blue tunic. So this is just kind of a random area. I just put a whale shark in there. I do have palm trees lining most of the beaches on the island. And this is my only pond. So this is just right in front of the Death Mountain area. Just got some flowers around it. Nothing crazy there. But once we get down into this area, so this is not exactly Zelda themed. But this is basically where I do, you know, if I want any types of flowers here that I have around the island, if I want to duplicate anything, I've also created a similar rainbow pattern here, and you can come in and water whatever flowers you want to replicate, and, you know, just wait the typical day and then they'll reproduce. And I put kind of a cabin looking house here. You know, we've got the stump workshop. We've got a watering can and a shovel just to say, hey, this is, you know, where the gardener lives. And continuing down to the south, this is actually the Gerudo Valley type area. It's the desert. This is actually set up as a bazaar. So, you know, I've got different items in here to make it look like, you know, you might be shopping in here. But yeah, this is the bazaar area. And the music here kind of matches. It's almost like Egyptian type of music there. So this is meant to be the Gerudo Valley type area. Similar wooden fences that we saw in Death Mountain, and some signs as well. You know, barrels strewn about. Got another tunic over here. This is the yellow tunic. Just I figured that would fit with the desert theme. We've got a golden rose too. A lot of bugs and fossils are displayed on these little shop tables. I just thought that was a pretty cool addition to it. And we can actually come up here. These are all termite hills. I just put those up there because they're, you know, sandy, so it kind of matched the theming. So I just brought those and included them up above here as well. And this is where the camping spot actually is as well. So when anyone stays in here, they'll have their tent set up, and a tent also kind of matches that, you know, desert area that you know, tents you might find in the desert area. And if we exit this way, I've just got a couple shells here, just kind of transition from the desert to like the beach. And the beach here, just got some piles of seaweed, sandcastle, nothing else much out here. This is my dock with Cappy. And over here, so this is just an alternate entrance or exit to the Gerudo Valley Bazaar area. So coming up this way is kind of another transition area that I mostly populated with flowers, a few trees. This also has that rainbow theme, so I start with white, pink, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and we got purples and blacks over here. So this does a similar rainbow as well. And I tried to mark these rocks are all custom designs as well. So I tried to mark areas where you should be walking with those paths in most of the areas that make sense. Just because mostly so nothing grows there. Because if it rains and you're actively playing the game, it rains, a bunch of flowers are going to reproduce. So I wanted to keep them off the paths. In this area up here, this isn't really Zelda-themed. Arguably, you could say, like Breath of the Wild, there's Hateno Village or something that's kind of got like an Asian influence. So that's what I did here. I've got, bamboo trees, the gong. I've got the fencing around the side that kind of matches the theme. This house also matches it. This is Octavian's house. I've got a gravestone there with a hole underneath. Very Zelda influence there from Ocarina of Time when you pull the graves and you've got a hole underneath or something. So I've left that there intentionally. There's not an item in there. Well, there is, but it's not an item I need. And what's kind of cool here is I've actually created a transition to get to Death Mountain. It's kind of one of those secret pathways that you might find in the different Zelda games. It's a little shortcut. And actually, if you see down below me, there's that skinny path. That is actually a shortcut from the Lost Woods over to Death Mountain. So you can see it kind of pops out above the pond there and gets you to the entrance. So there's little shortcuts built in to different areas here that I wanted to include, just because it does kind of theme it after different Zelda games, when you can find different routes to get to different areas, and sometimes they're shortcuts or just an alternate route that you might take in different times during your gameplay. So continuing down this bridge, this is also just like an intermediary. I included different flower sections as well here. So I tried to cover the island in as many of each color and type of flower as I could. So I just picked color combinations that seemed to go well together and match in to get some of the different colors. And then continuing across that bridge, now we come into what I've designated as Kakariko Village. So this is where I have most of my residents. And I've got some themes here, like he's supposed to be an equipment vendor. Obviously he's not, because the residents don't sell anything. But just to theme, like, we got black boots and the red tunic and this red dresser that they can just sit on top of with a red bug. So I did the same here. Blue tunic, lighter boots with a blue bug, similar things. So this is meant to be like your equipment vendor. And then we've got our Able sisters here. I just included the gold armor outside here, just to kind of show off a little bit, Oh look, a rock. Alright, let's head up this stair to see the rest of Kakariko Village. So this little plateau has just got a few different residents on it, a couple different fruit trees, and this is meant to be kind of like a communal area. So we've got a table here with some food on it, like they're having a picnic or something. Got different type of music for this area as well. We've got a little stove outside. So yeah, this is the main spot for our residents to hang out in Kakariko Village. A couple of fruit trees there, more flowers. And just coming down here, I put this little shrine. It's almost like a beach shrine. So I dropped just stacks of shells here just to kind of go with that theme. And we've got a couple pieces of shell furniture. Got a horseshoe crab and some more seaweed. But yeah, this is just supposed to be like a little mini sea shrine. And it kind of matches the theme with this house here too. It's, you know, white, almost like beach shanty. And then we've got our Nook's Cranny shop here. And then right below that, this is the well. So in Kakariko Village, you always have a well. In some of the games, you can, you know, adventure into the well. So like Ocarina of Time, you'd go into the well. So we've got that there too. And I've got this house down here. It's almost like a fishing hut. So I've got different like fishing themed pieces of furniture or clothes. You know, I've got the scuba suit up there. This is a blue locker. We've got some bait and a jellyfish, some rods, things like that. Kind of also matches that house. And back up around this winding path, we've got our community services area. It does happen to be Bunny Day today, so there's an event going on, which, you know, we could see that flying balloon. I think it's probably got an egg in it or something. And this just connects back over to the bridge that heads over to the bazaar. So we can kind of take that shortcut. I've also got a shortcut around this plateau. So we've been circling this plateau for a little bit now. And let me jump up on it and show you guys what I've done here. So this is another big flower rainbow thing that I set up. Let me see if I can show it on the map. Get a better, let's see. So you can see where I am. It's kind of in the center on the bottom. The whole plateau is kind of shaped like a pansy flower. And I basically designed each petal with a different color. So you can see all around the outside, you know, we've got these different colored petals for the pansy. And then in the center, we've got yellow, meant to be like, you know, the center part of a flower. And then in the very center of that, I got my gold rose here. So this is another heavy fat flower area. It took a long time to get not only all the different flower types, but also the different colors of all the flowers. And I think the blue roses were tricky, and then the gold roses just took a while just because they have a pretty low chance of breeding like that. But yeah, the blue roses were a pretty tricky breeding chain. So let me just jump back down from here. And we'll head, I've just got my Dodo Airlines. It's been a while since I played this game, so I forgot some of the names. Dodo Airlines there. Okay, and let me continue over to the right. I'll just show you. There's not too much going on down here, just more seaweed, horseshoe crabs. Yeah, a little bit of that type of stuff. So this is actually where I've gotten the museum. So I put a little sign with the owl there to indicate this is where we go for the museum. So in Zelda terms, this is actually, I've designed the front of the museum to be like a graveyard. So this will be like your graveyards that you see in some of the Zelda games. I've got these candles to kind of indicate, you know, ghosts might be here at night. And we've got Black Skull radio here with like kind of graveyard spooky-ish music. I think that was, at the time, that was the best I could find. And a few of these graveyards are pushed back a little bit with holes, indicating that you might, pull the grave out and find something buried there. So that's kind of all set up to be the graveyard out in front of the museum. Because the museum, if you look at it, it almost looks a little bit like a mausoleum. So I thought that was a good addition. And I've got this little Triforce stone tile here on the ground as well to just stick with the theme. And then over to this side, there's not really that much. I just put a random can in there just for fun. And, more beach area with palm trees. And then you can see we're back in Kakariko Village. Now let me head up here. So this is meant to be kind of like a witch's area. So we've got our witch there, a lot of purple included here, along with like the roof tiles on the house. And we've got, kind of magical sounding music coming out of this purple shell radio. We've got, fortune telling things. We've got a cauldron. I put this science kit here, kind of, an apothecary. You might be making your potions there or something. But yeah, this is supposed to be sort of like a witch's area. And let me head north of Kakariko Village. We've actually got an orchard. So this is where I've got pretty much most of my fruit trees here. And I've got, you can see, let me kind of zoom in and move the camera a little bit. I've got rows of dirt there just to indicate that, this is an orchard. And this isn't really aligned to any Zelda game. I thought this was just a good use for the space. To have an orchard here, and it's a good spot for all the fruit trees as well. So nothing is really blocking these. It's not like the Lost Woods, so you can walk freely down the rows. But yeah, this area, I've got like a brown house to kind of match like what you might see in an orchard. So they've got their axe for chopping trees. We've got a few stumps, shovels, firewood, some barrels, just to get some things in here that were themed kind of like, what you might see in an orchard. And we've got the brown Link's tunic. Not that that's associated to any tunic you might actually have, but it came in brown, so I had to find somewhere to put it. And we've got a little stick wreath there as well. So that's the orchard, and let me just come up to the right here. So here we can see the Zora's Sapphire and this shell arch and, a lot of blue and white flowers. So these are going to be leading to the Zora's River area. So it's actually, if you're familiar with Zora's River, there's always some sort of like puzzle type of thing. Not really a puzzle, but like a jumping puzzle with a river that you have to get through. So it's almost like a little mini game to navigate through the river. So in Ocarina of Time, there's a lot of different platforms that you have to jump around. And I've themed the music here to be kind of a little bit more upbeat, but still kind of close. But yeah, I've got a lot of waterfalls in the background just to show that, like, this is definitely a lot of water in this area. But yeah, you do this little jumping mini game in our Zora's River area, and you can actually come out here. There's this outcropping where I've got some just like themed pieces of furniture. I've got the coelacanth there, this anchor. You can kind of look out here on the ocean, and then jump back into Zora's River. So yeah, we're just jumping around. This part took a while to get all the pieces of land to look right and get all the flowers placed. And then at the end here, we've got the blue tunic, so like a Zora's tunic or something. And then I've got this blue flag. I've got a well here. And then, the regular shell radio that's playing the same music that we've been hearing, in all these different areas. And then we've got this blue wooden ramp. And now we're back up at our house. So in terms of what we have in the island, that's pretty much everything. You can see kind of from a bird's eye view of where we went and what we looked at. But that's everything I designed, and it was, as you can tell, it's very Zelda themed. So as the last little thing we're gonna do is we're gonna check out my house. So my house similarly has some of the same themes. So the first room we enter in is kind of mimicking the desert. You know, we've got the bazaar, so we've got like one of the shop tables. We've got some like Egyptian walls, some desert flooring, or actually oasis flooring. And then we actually included this like oasis pond in here as well. We've got bugs, we've got, you know, bushes, we've got a lot of things on the wall, just different rewards and things like that. You know, a fossil. This is actually one of the residents, and he's wearing like a toga type thing, so I thought that was fitting to put him on the wall here. And we've got our different gold plaques for museum stuff. But yeah, so that's the first room, our desert room. Let's head over to the left. The left we've got themed as like forest, so this will be like your Kokiri forest type of thing. So it's pretty busy, but you know, anything that's plant related, bamboo, bugs, things like that, I decided to throw in here. I thought this music was kind of fitting for the area. We've also got another Kokiri's emerald as you enter the room. Some leaf piles in here as well. So pretty cool theme to kind of match, you know, the foresty areas in the different Zelda games. And let's actually just go in order of the game. So we're following Ocarina of Time order. So you first do Kokiri's Forest, and then you do Goron City, or, you know, Dodongo's Cavern, Death Mountain, call it whatever you want. So this is similarly themed. You know, we've got the lava background and the lava flooring. Another bonfire, reel-to-reel playing. Some of the same music that we have on Death Mountain. Got the similar archway. We've got the Goron's Ruby down here as well. And then, you know, we have a pillow with that Zelda brick theme on it. And we've got even got a red boomerang. Let's see if there's anything on this wall. I don't think there is. Yeah, we got a couple posters of our residents here. Yeah, so that'll be the fire room, and next, if you can guess, we're gonna go explore the water room. So we'll head to the right, and this will be our Zora's Domain / Zora's River underwater theme. So this one, we've got the same archway as you come in, and the Zora's Sapphire on the ground there. I've also got that blue rose wreath above the door. Just, you know, the ocean background, the ocean flooring, a cooler, like a fishing cooler or something. A lot of shells in here. And we've got some fish hangings. We got a blue boomerang in here, a shell clock, some fish. So yeah, just kind of keeping up with the theme from the island. I thought I would pull that into the house as well. And let's go downstairs. So we'll check the downstairs first. So this is the one room and the one part of my entire island that doesn't really match with the Zelda theme. This is just kind of like a cool hangout, like basement hangout type of thing. So we've got some arcades, we've got pool, we've got foosball. So if you ever need a break from all the Zelda stuff, this is where you come. I've got two switches. One is actually, I think it's the Animal Crossing themed switch. Just some like chill music. pinball games. I got a server in here as well. Gumball machine. Kind of, you know, purple lights just to be, you know, pretty chill. We got some more gold plaques on the wall here. So yeah, this is where you need a break, where you go when you need a break from all the Zelda. Pretty rare for me, but it happens every once in a while. Okay, the last thing I want to show you guys is the upstairs. So the upstairs is kind of like a cloud area. So, you know, I've got cloud background or cloud wallpaper, cloud flooring, and then I've got all the different trophies, the house, different house awards, the insect awards, the fishing awards, the museum stuff. So this is kind of my collection of, you know, all the things I've been working on. I even have an ocarina down here, and I've got some floor lights, some of the what do you call them, astrology furniture. So we've got a Taurus bathtub, and we've got this like celestial clock here, and we got the moon and the sun, and another painting of the Triforce on the wall. I don't quite know what these are, but those are more celestial pieces. So yeah, just wanted to kind of design this to be like my trophy room, show the things I've accomplished, and yeah, that's basically what that room is for. Thanks for joining on the tour today. I hope you enjoyed it, and as usual, please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.